Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right. Thank you all very much for joining us. This is another fun-filled edition of the Real Estate Backstory. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker at Maximum One.
I'm Ming Richardson. I'm the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty Partner.
Yep. And so we're going to be doing, every week we go through and we dig through the news, topics, and ideas, and just a lot of items that we want to share out with our friends in the real estate world here. So we're kind of going to, of course, we kind of have a Godfather theme going today, and that's entirely my fault because I like the Godfather. And so, do stay with us because a little bit later, I'm going to be sharing the 12 things I learned for real estate from the Godfather. So that's coming today. So right now we're going to kind of jump in here a little bit. And so first thing is, as far as CE classes this week, it's a little bit slow on the CE side of things. Dana Sparks is going to be teaching 2020 GAR Contracts this Tuesday. And then, of course, this is 4th of July week. So, I'm a real patriot. I only sell homes made in the USA.
Cheesy, I know.
Yeah, but
anyways,
it's all I got.
But as a real estate agent, just so you know, there's a designation called CIPS. It's Certified International Property Specialist, which you can actually do referrals throughout the globe.
Yeah.
So
I'm still staying America, baby. So anyway, being silly. Also, this Tech Thursday coming up, we do on Tech Thursday, we are covering VoicePad. So, we like VoicePad a lot. It has a lot of really neat tools and features that most agents are not taking advantage of. So Tech Thursday this week is we're going to be going over VoicePad and all of its features. You'll be able to see it on also, if you can't catch it live, it will be on Workplace, and it'll also be on realestatebackstory.com.
Yes.
All right, so let's go and jump into the news this week. And so
those are Legos on the fireplace, just so you know.
Yeah, and that's how not to repair your fireplace. So anyway, we're going to kind of jump in, and we want to start off by saying that we love real estate, and we love all the aspects and the positive parts of it. But one thing that scares me is that sometimes we are at risk, and sometimes we are the hunted. We had an agent out of Virginia that not this past weekend, but the weekend before, was attacked with a wrench at an open house. And so, I bring this up. She's receiving some nice support and everyone's kind of behind her, but we've got to make sure that we're keeping our safety top of mind.
Absolutely.
I love our life. I love everything about it, but I also know that we have to be wise. And we just want to say, please be careful, protect yourself. I don't like to be the kind of person that has to think negatively about every situation, but especially when you're alone in an open house and you have no support and no one,
You should always partner up, just so you know, with a lender when you do open house, or someone that's going to be there with you. So that we just want to make sure we bring up, with COVID-19 now has been lifted in most area, we want you to practice safe. And there are some folks that's been cooped up for a long time and are out. And so we just want to make sure you guys are very conscientious about your safety.
And open houses are back. They really are. They're really popular. So I don't want you necessarily, I'm not saying stay away from open houses, but be wise, be smart about it, kind of thing. Partner up. So, we love you, want to make sure that you're staying safe. So, all right. Mortgage rates. This is our broken record. Every week we go, hey, mortgage rates hit an all-time low.
Right.
And now long-term mortgage rates hit an all-time low again. And so we continue to see a lot of downward pressure on the interest rates. And that's a really great thing. That's helping us continue to keep the housing market really chugging right now. Buyers overall, we have a 25% increase in buyers, and we have a 15% decrease in sellers. So if you want to know why pricing is the way it is in residential real estate, that's why.
It's a great time for buyers to purchase right now, and some sellers are apprehensive because they know that with inventory so low, can they get a home? So there are some special steps, for your client that you can use to protect that. Um, we never seen where seller has been so apprehensive about getting their own home when they sell theirs, but there are some incidents that are arising because of low inventory right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, we don't want to make our homeowners homeless kind of thing. So, when you start talking to a seller, you got to start talking about them as far as finding that forever home, or you're going to leave them homeless kind of thing. Along those same lines, mortgage applications are up 18% higher, not 18% higher than during COVID, 18% higher than last year. So we're up almost 20% for last year. And the great part about mortgage applications being high is the fact that that's one of those leading indicators for what business is coming down the line. If 20% more people are getting mortgage applications, well, then that's going to be 20% more people that hopefully are going to be buying a home coming up in the next few months, which means that we're looking at a really good summer and maybe even moving into a really strong fall. All right, on the economy, durable goods jumped in May. We had a pretty significant drop in durable goods. This is one of those economic terms kind of thing, but May was up nearly 16%, which is really, really good news. On the unemployment side of things are not looking that great, just being straight up about it. We were starting to see a pretty steady decline in new unemployment claims. And then it's kind of flattened out over the last few weeks. And so unemployment, one of the things that we need to see is that the unemployment continues to fall in order for the strength of the economy and for our friends out there, that kind of thing. So, one thing that's going to be kind of determining right now what happens with that is there are some folks that are enjoying the extra $600 in unemployment benefits. And the way that the month of July falls, that ends on July 31st. Well, it actually is probably going to end around July 25th or 26th, because you have to, it's the last full week of the month is how those unemployment benefits are paid out. So, I'm not saying that the state unemployment benefits will end, but the additional 600 from the feds, that's scheduled to end unless something else happens here. And I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know that that's going to happen. But I'm fairly doubtful that we'll see that extended right now. But again, I'm not being political or trying to say that I have any kind of insight into that. I don't. But that's going to, to me, it's one of those where it's going to be very interesting to see what happens at the end of July with unemployment, because some folks are making more on unemployment than they were in their job before. So will some folks actually go back to work now because they can make more money again? That's going to be kind of interesting on there kind of thing. Other news that wasn't that great, forbearance last week. So we had actually jumped up. So we had 3 weeks in a row where the number of people going on to forbearance fell. And so we had a spike last week. It's still less, but nearly half of the people that we had really kind of jumped up from the previous 3 weeks. So after 3 weeks, we had a jump up. The talking heads aren't exactly sure why. They kind of expected it to keep going down. So some people may think it's just that time of the month or that time of the year kind of thing, which sounds weird.
Well, and speculation too, that if you think about it, if you were collecting an unemployment check with that extra $600 and that's going to come to an end, that may have something to do with it as well. Yeah. And I know some folks were furloughed too, and maybe with that, maybe the business is furloughing them further, than what they initially anticipated.
All right. So CFPB has made some suggestions on restructuring their approach as opposed to debt to income. And I know this may sound kind of techie and that kind of stuff, but and this definitely deals with the lenders more. But basically, what this is going to give the lenders some additional options to look at getting people financed outside of just debt to income ratios. Yes, debt to income ratios are important, but right now, especially like for us, single, people that are self-employed, that kind of stuff. Sometimes that those numbers get a little bit challenging. We tend to have to get different types of loans.
But we also write off everything too.
We do, but what the goal here is that we can get the people who really do want a home and can buy a home a mortgage. And so that's why looking at the approach, not going all the way to the other end. And I think that's important. Like we remember what happened in 08 or in 06 and 07, really, when it didn't, there was no controls on the mortgage industry kind of thing. And, basically lenders turned into the Oprah Winfrey, and you get a home and you get a home. If you get a Pulse, you get a home too. And so, there's still going to be some restrictions in there, and I believe that's healthy for our industry. But I am glad that they're looking at other options to be able to help make more people homeowners, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So, how resilient right now is our housing market is definitely one of the things that's top of mind, of course, for us here in the real estate world, kind of thing. But some things that are going on, our home prices are not just standing firm; they're actually increasing right now. So overall prices is really increasing. I know it sounds for some reason I can't even speak today, but personal income is actually rising, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But there's a lot of money actually still flowing out there even with COVID going on. We look to be very unlikely to have a foreclosure wave, in part because of all the forbearances and that kind of stuff. So we're not really anticipating a big wave of foreclosures like we were in 08. But we do know that some of our populations are getting hit harder than others. The lower income earners are the ones who are getting hit by the economy right now. The challenge was most of those folks were not in the buying market for housing already. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we haven't really seen much of a impact on the housing kind of thing. One thing that is interesting is where our supply is year over year. If you look at this right here, as far as where we are over the last 12 months, our housing supply this year versus last year is stark and startling right there. So you can see that we are down 20% versus last year. So we were down 10, 11, 12, but now we're running almost 20% in May down. So overall, we've been running like 15% down versus last year. And we have 25% more buyers. We need sellers. Boy, oh boy, do we ever need sellers. So we need the inventory out there. And that's why we're seeing so much pressure on home prices right now, is because it's a supply demand issue. Residential real estate is driven by supply versus demand factors kind of thing. So if you know anybody, we need to be reaching out. We need to be engaging our communities. My goodness, we need listings. Our days on market right now are phenomenal.
I was going to tell you, all the listings that I see coming online, they're under contract within a couple of days. So if y'all have something coming up, please share with our fellow agents. They will love to see it.
Be wise. Yeah. All right. So we are continuing to see a V-shaped recovery. And what's interesting, if you look down here in the bottom right-hand corner, you can actually see the V. It's like, woo. So the fact is that, on the purchase applications, that's the one that really kind of drives housing overall. We truly are seeing that housing market recovery kind of thing. Yes, you can see the valley in there, but you also see the corresponding spike, and actually we're up over last year now. As far as what's going on in showings, well, our showings, even in the days of COVID, even in because we and I feel it's because the real estate industry overall has put a lot of protections, and we care about ourselves, right. We care about our clients, so we tried to do this very, very smartly. And you can see there was a big dip this year. April 4th was probably the deepest part of the valley. But you can see that actually showings, the number of showings, even with COVID-19, is over last year now. So we're and the trend is steadily heavy, steadily pointing up. So,
yes.
All right. So, and as we said, we continue to see, this is from a new report that came out from Zillow, and the homes are moving off the market faster than they have in the last 2 years. So everyone said this is going to be a more subtle summer, and subtle is not the way to put it. Let's be honest, subtle is not the way to put this entire year.
No.
So same kind of thing goes here. New home sales post their strongest May numbers in over 10 years. And that's really, really good. We need the builders. We need the builders so bad right now to be building, because as soon as a builder builds a house, well, the house that those people were staying in, now that comes onto the market. And so it really starts the whole thing going. So we need the builders to be really active, and the builders are not pulling back right now.
No.
The holdup that the builders had was in employment and on being able to staff during COVID, but they've not stopped building at all. As a matter of fact, everyone that we know is ramping this thing up crazy. Overall, if you look at the 5 main charts that a lot of groups look at as far as like how are things looking, air travel is looking up. U.S. home purchases continue to move up. Occupancy rates on the hotels is improving, even restaurant bookings. And then if you look at change of requests for directions on Apple Maps, you can see that mass transit, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with mass transit over time. But the number of folks looking for directions in cars, we're back to being in love with our cars again, kind of thing. And so that's up actually higher than it was before.
Well, if you've been out lately, I can tell you traffic is horrible. So
yeah, yay.
Yeah. Real rage for Alan.
Yeah, I'm not that bad. Maybe I am. The luxury market is bouncing back, and that's a really good news, because sometimes the luxury market holds back a little bit, but because we have the economy is not hitting the higher end of our buyers and sellers, we're seeing a lot of strength there, actually, kind of thing. And so luxury sales continue to run really, really strong right now, and so we're not seeing any kind of flattening on the higher end stuff at all. There's a new study that came out that 27% of buyers intend to relocate. And so they pulled up a list of where folks moving to and moving from. And so like Atlanta is the 4th greatest destination for the net people that are moving into Atlanta. The most people that are coming into Atlanta are coming out of New York City. York City. So we're a very pricing here is so much less than what New York is. We on one hand, we've always kind of fought the issue that we are the epitome of sprawl. We don't have any geographic boundaries. We don't have lakes. We don't have mountains that really stop us. So we just kind of keep spreading out. We have one of the longest commutes in the U.S. because of that, and our traffic kind of stinks. But on the positive side, we spread out a good bit. We are the epitome of sprawl, and so after COVID, there's a lot of people that really are looking at that. When you look at
So what does that mean for you guys?
Yeah, I mean,
advertise.
Yeah, especially
up in New York.
Yeah, New York and New Jersey are moving heavily into the U.S., so that's a great thing.
New Jersey also did some really heavy taxation on personal properties, and where it's make home affordability difficult over there.
So this is this graph here shows the reasons why people are more likely to move and the reasons why people are less likely to move. Now, what's interesting is this is not just buyers. This is buyers as well as renters, kind of thing. And so if you're more likely to move, 32% are trying to find cheaper housing. 31% want to take advantage of declining rents and home prices. A third of the people want less density, more space, more distance. We just talked about that. Some folks want to live in a place with more economic opportunity. Atlanta is a really great place for that. And then some folks want to work remotely. They don't have to live there, kind of thing. On the selling side, or on why are they not going to move? Most of them want to stay right where they are, kind of thing. They want to stay close to their family, or they don't financially are not able to, and they're worried about finding jobs and that kind of stuff. So, these are important factors that we need to just kind of stay on top of, kind of thing. We did find another very interesting survey that 37% said they'd risk COVID-19 to obtain their dream home. And so I think that's startling a little bit, that nearly 40% of our buyers are so desperate to find their dream home that they're like, yeah, let's go lick doorknobs, kind of thing. That doesn't make sense. Now, that being said, yes, I want us to be able to keep our folks safe, but that's a really great place for us to be, that to know that our buyers are so willing to find their dream home that they'd risk COVID-19. So, I think we need to be very smart about it, kind of thing. And we need to be helping our folks, and we can keep them still safe. When they come in, all we touch is the front doorknob on showings, that kind of stuff. We open all the doors, all the cabinets, masks. We're just being really smart about it, kind of thing. Nearly a third of the folks, said that they'd be willing to buy a home without ever seeing it in person. I have a hard time with that one a little bit personally. I really want them to go see the house, but that being said, we're also seeing things that really matter. Like if you're a listing agent, you really need to have amazing photography. You need to have virtual tours. You need to have walkthroughs on the house, floor plans, things that can help people really decide if they're interested in that home way before they actually get there, kind of thing. Because we've seen, these are three of the things that we've seen, the way that COVID has kind of changed lead generation. One thing is that websites are back and more important than they ever have been. Honestly, people are going to our websites again. Excuse me. And so our websites are very important in how they're impacting, people that are out searching and looking and that kind of stuff. So it really is very important that we do that. Yard signs are even more relevant. And so, but the real kicker when it comes to yard signs is, well, when someone calls on a yard sign, what happens? Our phones ring. And what do we do when the phones ring? I don't know what that number is. I'm not going to answer that number. And so then we miss out on that business because so many of us are like, well, I don't know the number, I'm not answering it, kind of thing.
I will tell you guys, NAR did a survey a while back, and they said the average turnaround time for a real estate agent to call a client is about 24 hours. I can tell you, I have personally got referrals because I picked up my phone. So if you look at your phone as a device where every time you get a phone call is worth about $50, if somebody told me that, guess what? I'm gonna pick up my phone. And I understand that there's time you're on vacation, you have family time, you don't want to do it, but send a quick text and say, I'll call you back, or I'm on vacation, or some type of message to know the buyer knows that there's another person on the other end of the line. And you guys, we have VoicePad free to you guys. Alan and I pay good money for those for you guys, just so you know. Yeah. It is a lead generation product.
Take advantage
of it. We're teaching it this Thursday, so please take advantage of that system.
Yep, exactly. And then the last thing is that events are socially distant, but they still are really popular. So they're a big deal. So don't think that all the events are done.
We have virtual Zoom cocktails and party and just talk about different things. I mean, it's going around right now. I know it sounds weird, but I'm more a live person kind of thing.
And we're just seeing the events that are done are just being done, like where people are spreading out a little bit more, but it's still very much a big deal, kind of thing. Our investors are really bullish about what's going on in our market. We're starting to see that the investors are coming back in, and I feel definitely mixed about this topic, because on one hand we are investors, but on the other, like inventory is so tight. I hate having to fight with investors, but the folks who are flipping property, I'm pretty encouraged about that. But it's it's just more competition, more pressure on our investors right now.
And then we
So, go
also
ahead.
seen some of our investor trying to get listings and giving the client discounts. So if you are having an interview with a potential seller and they bring that up, it is your business, y'all. At the end of the day, you have the authority to dictate what your commission percentage is. If you market right, I can tell you 9 out of 10, you'll get 1 or 2 buyers from your listings.
Yep. So moving on to millennials. Millennials continue to be one of our biggest buying segments out there. But there were some new studies that came out, not studies, but yeah, where we polled millennials and we found some information about millennials in the home buying experience kind of thing. And a lot of them don't understand. And this to me is one of those that this is on us. All right. Half of the millennials polled don't know how much money they need for down payment in order to avoid PMI. They don't understand what payments really mean, or they understand payment. They don't understand price. And so, we need to make sure that I'm not trying to get into people's financial world by any means. And I'm not trying to say you need to pull credit scores and look at their credit. That's not what I'm talking about. But as far as just general advice to our millennials, we need to be reaching out and educating them kind of thing. 42% of respondents believe it's free to use a buyer's agent when purchasing a home. And it may seem like it's free, but is it really free? Because some folks will say,
paying for it.
Well, I mean, nobody rides free.
Right.
And at the end of the day, yes, you can say the seller pays the buyer's agents as well. Or you could say, when the buyer buys the home, they pay. And so, yes, it's mixed into the cost, but 40%, 42% of them think that it's free, that we work for free. And that doesn't make any sense because like I love y'all, but I don't work for free. So, one of the big one that came out is that 87%, we're talking almost 90% feel unclear about the process of buying or selling a home. And they're our biggest buying segment right now. This is on us, y'all. This right here is one of those that we need a gut check, because this is one that's very important. If we want to be really successful, if you want to be successful, we need to be educating millennials.
And also, just so you know, our lenders are more than happy to host a Zoom meeting or seminar with you on first-time home buying. Our training room are available for you guys to book as well. So if y'all need assistance to locate a lender or what have you, let me know, because the lender typically have the presentation for the entire series. You're there to answer the home buying process, but the lender is the biggest chunk of the home buying process, because they will have to explain to the buyer how the process go, why they're asking for these documents, what kind of down payment they need, what these type of loan means. So, they're the one who's actually educating the buyer on the loan process, while you're there to explain to them on the real estate process, because lenders gonna make you and break you. That's always my favorite, phrase.
Well, but this is not just lenders, though. This is the entire process. And so we need to spend some time educating, teaching our millennial clients, because honestly, they want to know. They're our biggest buying segment right now. They're our second largest selling segment right now, which is startling. Right now, almost 40% of our sellers are millennials, which is 25% of our sellers are millennials, and nearly a quarter of our sellers right now are millennials. These are folks that 90% of them, almost 87%, are unclear about buying and selling a home. Educate is the best place for us to be right now.
Actually, just popped in my mind, and I haven't told Alan this, but would it be helpful if I do a first-time home buying consultation and do a live interview and just showcase that? If you think that's helpful, just hit back on Workplace and let me know, or send me a comment, because we
I'll
may
go ahead
do
and answer
something
for everyone and say, yes, Ming, that would be helpful. We'd love to have that. So, you just signed yourself up. So
we'll schedule something on a first-time home buyer seminar. As far as consultation goes, from the real estate perspective. And I'll try to get some of the stuff up for you guys as far as what I use for timelines and explanation. So the buyer is competent when they, and also have the right education to make the right decision to either move forward and commit to you, or wait a while and get their things, get their business in line before you guys start working.
Yep. All right. So this is the news subject that kind of got my creative juices flowing today. So, or this weekend. So Al Capone's childhood home sells for 2.9 million. This is up in New York City. And so Al Capone, our famous gangster, Ming and I have kind of an affinity. Maybe affinity is the wrong word.
Wait a minute. Don't put me in there.
Look, we owned a restaurant called Capone's. Okay, so yeah, we
at one point,
we're kind of gangster thugs, but nice gangster thugs. And so that kind of really got me thinking about it. And The Godfather is playing, and it's one of my favorite movies, kind of thing. So of course I went and checked out The Godfather, and so and in going through it, it just kind of it struck me like you know what, there's some real life lessons, business lessons for real estate that we can take from The Godfather.
Not the violence.
Okay, not the violence. I'm not, I'm not necessarily promoting, hey, let's go be gangsters. But by the same token, there are some there's some things that we can take away from The Godfather. And so my wife thinks I'm a little bit ridiculous, but we're going to kind of jump in. And so first up, family is essential. Don Vito Corleone, a man who doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man. And it's not just men. Okay. Family is so important to us. We
Absolutely.
work really, really hard. And sometimes we will sacrifice our families for real estate. And that is not the way it's supposed to be. We sacrifice everything for our families, and we should not sacrifice our families. So understand that we're doing this to take care of our families, not to make them pay. Now, sometimes we have to work with our families and our spouses and that kind of stuff. And
what are you trying to say?
Well, but real estate for some of us is a 24/7 job, and we have to make sure that we're taking time for your family. So please take time with your family. It is incredibly important. Next is, I learned more in the streets than in any classroom, and I've got to tell you that comes down to knowing your market. Nothing will ever replace a really knowledgeable agent that knows their market. When you know those mean streets, when you know how things work, when you understand values, when you understand your market and knowing your market inside and out, what price ranges, how they are, what this neighborhood is like, all those kind of things, that's invaluable. So know and learn your market and understand what your streets are. Next one is, I respect those that tell me the truth no matter how hard it is. And that comes down to being 100% honest, always. Honesty is one of the most important things. And sometimes, like with a seller, your home is only worth, a buyer's only willing to pay you $225,000, but I want $250,000. Well, are you going to be honest with them? Or you walk in this really sweet lady and her house smells like a litter box. Are you going to be honest? And when you get offers in, are you going to be honest? Being honest is so important. And so we have to be 100% honest always.
And I know sometimes you may not win the day, but at the end of the day, if the seller or buyer refuses to listen, you cut your ties right there, and you're not spending any more time and effort on someone that is not going to listen. And at the end of the day, it's not about, I told you so. It's about, this is where we part ways, because, I have given you evidence to show you that these are how things are working, but yet you refuse. We can't force something. And if you have a buyer for that price, problem is appraisal's the next issue. So there we go.
Got to make them an offer. You
right.
can't refuse. No,
yeah, there you go.
All right. Next one, accidents don't happen to people who take accidents as a personal insult. And what this really comes down to is plan, prepare, execute, learn,
and
repeat. It goes. And so how well prepared you are, how you plan your business, how you execute your business. When you know, the folks who have accidents generally have no plan. So when things happen, when you don't have a plan, your whole world falls apart.
Let me ask you guys something. If you have all your dates in line and you were fully aware your due diligence, appraisal, and financing, would you be ever caught off guard? Absolutely not. So
okay. Next one, the lawyer with a briefcase can steal more money than the man with a gun. And this is where the devil's in the details, y'all. Paperwork has to be right. I knew my wife would really appreciate me throwing this out there because this is her realm kind of thing.
I just want to let you know, I audit every single piece of paper, all 300 over this weekend. As of last night or this morning at 1 p.m., there was no more, okay? We got some more in this morning. And I know that if I come across as harsh on you guys, it's because I want you guys to go out there and practice professionally, that anytime I receive an offer from our agent, I can say, wow, she knows what she's doing. So this is a learning curve, no personal insult at all. It's more for your business development. And I hope y'all take it as that.
All right, next is we go to the mattresses. Now, you kind of have to watch the movie to really get this one, but you know, in this reference, what's really going on is when your resolve is so much that you're willing to move in, drop mattresses on the floor, and you're going to live here. So understand that this work is hard. Your success is going to be driven by how bad you want it, how serious you are. You go to the mattresses. We burn the lifeboats, things like that. You know, what are you willing to do?
Don't burn the lifeboat, y'all.
No, do burn the lifeboat, because when you burn the lifeboat, you got to go all the way. So
okay, not analogy, yeah, yes. But don't be a loser.
No, I didn't mean like that. But you know, we go to the mattresses means that you're all in. Are you really committed? And how committed are you? Because if you're committed, then you're ready to go to the mattresses. Now this is a quote when he met with the other heads of the mafia family. You know, I hoped we could come here and reason together, and I'm a reasonable man. I'm willing to do whatever is necessary to find a peaceful solution to these problems. You need to be a student of negotiation. It's important that you learn the art of negotiation, because sometimes is the right time to listen, and sometimes is the right time to speak. Generally speaking, the one who speaks first loses. And so you do start learning the art of negotiation. You know, if you haven't, you should read the book, Never Split the Difference. We love that book. It's one of our favorite business books, kind of thing, about negotiation. But you got to understand that everything in our business is a negotiation. Your commission with your client is going to be a negotiation. Mm-hmm. The contract with the buyer's agent, with the seller's agent, with you know, sometimes even with the appraiser, you're negotiating to try and get them to do it.
Bring the value.
Everything is a negotiation in this business. And if you're not a good negotiator, this business will eat you. Okay, so you need to learn to be a really effective negotiator if you really want to be successful. Friendship is everything. Friendship is more than talent. It's more than the government. It's almost the equal of family. So reach out to our community, reach out Absolutely. Into the real estate world, use our community for support. We're here. You know, Ming and I are definitely here. All the branch managers, Keisha, I mean, you know, we love and appreciate you, and anything that we can do to support you, please let us know. Reach out to each other too, because I am blessed to be able to work with so many amazing people. And if you haven't reached out to these same amazing people, you're missing out, because this is a wonderful community that we're all part of. Okay, this one's probably a little bit inappropriate, but you know, this is Michael Corleone. He said, I asked God for a bike, but I know God doesn't work that way. So I stole a bike and asked him for forgiveness. And so, you know, like understand that we've got to be looking for new business always. Mm-hmm. We've got to be ready to shift. We've got to be looking around, you know, and I'm not promoting it, But, the gangster families, first they were into, extortion, prostitution, illegal drugs. Okay, I'm not touting that, but the thing is that those business opportunities appeared, and they took advantage of that. Be ready to do that. We are our real estate market is shifting drastically right now. We've had the COVID shift going on. We have the economy going on. Yeah. We have the election year. You cannot be a single focused agent. You've got to be looking always for the different business opportunities and the way that they present themselves out there.
And I do love some of the creativity y'all come to me with. And, my thing is always advise you on what the potential consequences are and how to and help you to navigate to where that liability does not hit you. So, be creative. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. But at the end of the day, just remember, because you're a real estate licensed agent, all transaction has come through the brokerage.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Never hate your enemies. It affects your judgment. Understand that we know this is a high stress business. We're dealing with where people live.
Oh yeah.
You cannot let your emotions rule you. Yes, doing real estate can be a very stressful time, but you can't let that be what dictates how you are, how your personality is. You can't let that rule you. You can't live in a place of hate or anger or frustration kind of thing. It does affect your judgment, and it will affect your business also.
I would tell you, there's some of you that has came to me before during your high stress time. And at the end of the day, what I always try to navigate you through is what is written, okay? What is agreed? I don't care what's been agreed between the agents, okay? Because in our world, only seller and buyer can bind themselves to a change or an amendment, okay? Agents cannot. We can try to negotiate, but at the end of the day, if you have nothing in writing, it's not going to fly.
Yep. All right. Here we have, leave the gun, take the cannoli. All right. And so this really comes down to being really practical with your time. One of the greatest assets that we have is our time, and we have to protect that. We have to make sure that we're guarding that. And yes, I want to work with as many clients, but we can't let them rule our time. So, if you're going to prospect from 9 to 11 and someone calls you at 10 and asks you to see a home, you can't just say, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. You can say, I can after, say, 11:15, 11:30, I can meet you over there. I'm in an appointment until this time. We have to be really smart about how we manage our time and be practical with our time. That's one of the greatest assets we have, but it's also one of the biggest wastes that I see so many agents waste too much time. So, please think about it. Leave the gun, take the cannoli, be practical. And then we're going to wrap up with this, stay the course. Great men are not born. They grow great. And the same thing goes with your careers, with your real estate business. It's about being consistent, working at it every day, continuing to grind through. Your greatness is going to come because you stay diligent, because you continue to work and engage and focus and fight and strive. So it's out there. You just have to stay the course. So those are my 12 things that I learned from the Godfather. I hope that you take that with a grain of salt as well, because I do find that those are truly helpful to me. We're going to wrap up with accountability. It's every Thursday at 10. It is Tuesday. On Zoom. I'm sorry. Back up. Tuesday at 10. Alan's brain's not working. And so it's every Tuesday at 10. Keisha is running it and doing a phenomenal job. And we really appreciate everyone jumping into it. If you're serious about trying to grow your business, then having that accountability group can truly help you grow that. Because each week we go through and share, what were our goals from last week? How did we do? What are our goals for this week coming up? We talk about, our big challenge and our biggest win each week kind of thing.
And for those of you that are in accountability, if you wouldn't mind just put a couple of testimony in there and how it has improved your business, we will really appreciate it, because we want this to be a motivational for all that is participating, and we will love some feedback.
So that's it. If we can be of any service to you, please, you can connect with us on all these different platforms, call, text, smoke signals. We answer it all. So we love and appreciate you very much.
Thank y'all.
Thank
We
you very
appreciate
much.
it. Have a great week and happy 4th.
All right. Bye, y'all.